Dragons are birds. I know it's a weird topic to dedicate a whole video to, but just hear me out. What is a bird? It's a warm-blooded reptile, essentially. They lay eggs, they usually have cloaca, there's probably more, I'm just too tired to look that up. But what is a dragon? And that's a good question. There's many types of dragons. Some are lizard-like, others are clearly more mammalian, and others are kind of like fish. That's Jeff, he's a dragon. So, why are they all birds? Short answer, they're not. There are many types of dragons, and dragons aren't really a taxonomical classification. They're more of a kind of vibe. But the European, big fire-breathing dinosaur-like dragon is a bird, and I'm going to talk to you about why that type of dragon is a bird. Firstly, dragons typically lay eggs, just like birds, as well as reptiles, fish, amphibians, but not usually mammals, unless dragons are platypi, which I have not previously considered and may need to make a follow-up video for. So that means we can rule out mammals, because we're not gonna discuss whether they could be a platypi. That's not for this video. Now, we're gonna look at the fire-breathing part. These dragons usually breathe fire. Some of them have other breath weapons, but we're going to discuss fire here. In order to create fire, you need three things: fuel, heat, and oxygen. You also need a chemical reaction, but that's also, fire is the chemical reaction, so it is itself a component. It's kind of confusing, but you need those three. We're going to say that the oxygen, it usually exists in the atmosphere, so we can just, say that one's important, that one's there. But the other two are where it gets interesting. Now, for fuel, it has to be a gas, because dragons they're not just spitting, wood out of their mouth when they're breathing fire. So, it's probably something like either methane gas, or I like to imagine that dragons have a helium sac that, helium is very combustible. And I like to imagine that they just have that, and it could, in theory, help them with flying because their wings are too small. And also, I just like to imagine they have super high-pitched, squeaky voices. Now comes heat. In order for the dragons to create heat in order to start the chemical reaction for fire, they either need to have something in their throats that causes a spark, but that feels like it would probably be difficult for them to grow and develop because it needs to be a bone structure, and even then, it would wear away at itself over time, which I guess teeth do that. But anyway, or they have to be warm-blooded and have body heat. And out of all types of animals, all groups of vertebrates, which we know dragons are vertebrates because they've been shown to have bones, only birds are warm-blooded and lay eggs, or platypi. But again, I might make a follow-up video discussing why dragons could be platypi. So, dragons are birds, right? Well, yes, absolutely. I am always correct. That was a joke. But if dragons are birds, why don't they have feathers? Well, one, some depictions do give them feathers, but because we're going with the normal depiction of what a lot of people think of, they usually don't have feathers. And the reason for that is dragons are not birds the way we know them. Dragons are usually in fantasy worlds, which are different planets. They're essentially alien. Due to this, they exist on a different world, but the worlds are usually similar to Earth. So, dragons are essentially dinosaurs from a almost exactly same Earth, where the asteroid didn't hit. Additionally, a lack of feathers means they will not catch their feathers on fire when, breathing fire. And I know what you're thinking, but Perry, your logic is so very probably flawed. And yes, that is absolutely true. But I don't care, because dragons are not real. I am not real. And I'd rather believe that dragons are birds than not believe it. It's not harming anyone, so it doesn't really matter. Frankly, this video is just an excuse to draw birds and dragons. That's all for now. See you next time. Until then, make your peace offerings with the birds and stay unslain.